Mute till you get in your car.
No problem.
All right, Black Box Radio. Listen, we are in the box. Tonight, well, this afternoon, this is the King Him series. So you know I'm not the king. Got to be a male. At first, it has to be a male. That's number one. It should be, and it's especially Black men. This is a space that we made for men because we understand that men are so important in society. We need our men, and especially Black men because we Black people and we want to put Black men on pedestals, on platforms, on stilts, on top of the world. Whatever we could do to make the Black male experience better, we want to be able to do that. So that is the Kingham series. It is a series, a space for for men, but especially Black men. I'm Queen. I am a host at Black Box Radio. We are a media platform illustrating Black excellence. We platform Black people. We platform Black genius, expose the world of Black genius. We also disseminate information about Black people and also to the Black community. Our biggest goal, though, is to humanize the Black experience. We are just people who are trying to make it in America. We are under a lot of stress. And what people think we aren't, because we're everything. So Black Box Radio is based in Baltimore City. We are blackity black. We do black. We talk black. We be black. So tonight, you see my brother sitting over there, Mr. Black. Damn. That's his that's his nickname, y'all. We got Black in the house. So we got Alex Long. Say hi to the people, bruh.
Good afternoon, everyone. Appreciate you having me on, Queen.
You know, all the time. Alex, turn that phone horizontal. Let me see that phone. Give me a different presentation. Let's see how that works right quick. Just a little techno, guys. He was a little lady. He's a superstar. He was on TV. Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, that looks better. Don't that look better, brother?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that looks better. Okay. So, Alex, tell us who Alex Long is. Let's start there. Who is Alex Long?
Really, I'm just a native son of Baltimore. I grew up in foster kid, so I kind of was raised a little bit of everywhere. For the past 7 years, I've been a Safe Streets violence interrupter worker in McElderry Park. I also founded Team Redemption Boxing Gym, where we have received OSI fellowship for the George Soros Foundation back in 2018. And that's it, just somebody really just trying to make a difference in our city. Most people really feel like it takes a abundance of resources and things. And I'm just a prototypical guy showing it really don't take nothing outside of the dedication and determination to make that difference.
I love this. I did not know you were a foster kid. You come from a whole different perspective because foster kids, the system does a job on foster kids. And so,
Absolutely.
Absolute job. Let me ask you a question. Can you have to hold your phone if you have it the other way? I want to be where it doesn't move. So if it needs to go straight up and down, make it straight up and down. Doesn't matter.
It would definitely probably have to be straight up and down.
Let's do that. I want you. As long as you're comfortable. So I'm gonna put myself straight up and down. Look how close you are. I can almost touch that brown skin. There we go. All right. So Alex, foster kids, this system and how we deal with difference is scary. America does not know how to deal with anything other than white. Let's be clear. People, kids, elderly, I can go on and on. If you're different from the norm, they displace you. They find a home for you. They develop a system for you. You disabled, we got you. You autistic, they find some place to put you. America has a problem dealing with different. And so, as a foster kid and working for, well, you're a foster grown up now. You're a grown man, so you're out of that system. So, as a person who was in the system,
Yes.
what do you see Baltimore preparing our young people towards?
Honestly,
That's
foster
fine.
care was kind of a gift and a curse for me.
Wow.
'Cause it gave me a true opportunity to see what the world really has to offer. Too many times we get trapped into our, 4 to 8 block radius that we kind of, live in. And with foster care, I really got to see Baltimore as a whole, New York, Miami, Philadelphia. So I really got to travel, and with that, it just introduced me to a whole new walk in life for people that didn't always view things how I viewed them, because they was never put in situations where they had to view it like that. You know,
Mm.
what most people fail to realize about our kids today are they are forced making grown up decisions day to day because unfortunately many of our adults have failed them. So when you have any individual that has done with all the mental health crises in the world, because most of our kids are suffering from the same PTSD that these soldiers and police
Yep.
officers and doctors, surgeons too, that they suffer from too. And everybody get an excuse and pass when they kind of snap in sense. And our kids aren't afforded that luxury to make a mistake.
They find them a
You know,
place. They got a place called jail. That's America.
exactly.
Let's find a place for you.
You
Unfortunately.
know, one of the saddest things that I got to experience while being in foster care was the simple fact of seeing how different society treated its people. Again, coming from Baltimore City,
Huh.
our schools are terrible,
Terrible.
terrible. You know,
Terrible.
majority of these kids, and a lot of times as a parent, you tend to be hard on your child when you see that they're struggling or their grades and slip. But most
Uh-huh.
times, because our kids aren't being challenged, they're dealing with curricula that they did 3, 4, 5 years ago. So
Yep.
of course, when they get to school, they want to go to sleep. They ain't got no interest in what you're talking about because they didn't already review this 1,000 times over.
Absolutely.
So we got to stop being so critical. And like I say, with me being in foster care, I got to see the difference. Me going to places, and I went to kind of good schools. Even though Woodlawn is kind of crazy now, but back in the day, Woodlawn wasn't really that bad.
Yes.
I went to Milford Mill. We had fights and things like that, but it wasn't that bad in comparison to the city schools. But when I got to Lowell, when I got to Bowie, when I got to Oxon Hill, I got to see that the curriculum that we was getting down here wasn't nothing in comparison to what they was doing. After a summer living out there, when I came back down here, all my cousins loved me because I was able to do all their schoolwork like it was nothing. Because it was like a joke to me. But it
Ah,
made me realize early on, like, yo, it's an unlevel playing field.
there you go. There you go.
So for as much as I want to be angry and upset that I was in foster care and separated from my family, I really had to understand that the opportunity that it really put me in to get a fair shot at life. Unfortunately, almost everybody that I grew up with, um, sadly, is either in jail, passed away, or not doing too well. Speaking for my friends that were in the inner city.
Hmm.
Now, the flip side of that coin is all my friends that was in the suburbs, none
I'm
of them
good.
have, yeah, I don't hear no bad stories about none of them. Like,
We're good.
and it just made me wonder, like, yo, what was the true difference? And it was the
Access,
environment.
access, resources, environment.
The environment.
It is the only difference. And you could do that in the city. They choose not to. And that's what it is. Access. And when you put resources in play, I don't care if you put it in the middle of nowhere, you're going to see some creativity because the resources is the trigger. It's what it what allows things to happen out of nothing.
Absolutely. And
That's
I
where we're at. So I love this conversation so far. You got me on fire because I didn't know you were a foster kid. And what I'm hearing from you is you've utilized that because some people who in foster care, and I'm not a foster kid, but I've heard them say like they feel they feel a sort of way about being
absolutely.
a foster kid, and you took that experience and started looking at the world. That takes a lot of tenacity. You flip the experience and then you say, wow, I go here, it's one way. I go here, it's another way. I'm traveling, I'm seeing stuff that people in my family might not see.
Oh,
Because
I know they have the thing.
look at
By,
that.
t- by the time I was 16, I had
Mhm.
been 23 more places than my dad or my mom had ever seen a day in their life.
Man.
Like they took pride in knowing the fact that I was able to see the world. Like as weird as
Oh,
that may sound, or but they was like actually like proud because in many senses it was like that was something that not saying they couldn't, but they didn't necessarily see themselves being able to accomplish for me.
and they
You
and,
know,
and they probably couldn't have accomplishment. It's true. In our families, we want a lot for our children. We just cannot make it happen. It is the
absolutely.
truth, and we have to be honest about that. We live in a system where it's very hard for us to go forward and to bring a family through. It's big business. So when I hear these people celebrating their children going to high school and let people celebrate.
Exactly.
It
That's
is a
amazing.
blessing. It's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? People say middle school is graduation is important. You black and you get out of middle school, excellent. That's excellent. So
Exactly.
that's excellent. So your parents, because a lot of foster kids don't know their family. So you know your family.
Absolutely. I'm actually sitting right here with my dad. He's sitting outside my vehicle right now. The post monument roads that I'm on every single day is actually one of my dad's favorite chill spots. So we kick it on the regular. My kids kind of joke, always calling me old, because me and my dad always would be together going out and things like that. They was like, man, we thought that was your homeboy.
Oh wow. Well, that's amazing because you have a perspective that foster kids usually don't have. Even if they find their family, they don't really have that type of relationship.
Oh yeah,
And
because prior to the drugs, I would have to say I had kind of like the perfect family. For Christmases and things, I really didn't want for nothing or ask for nothing. It was never those type of moments, but it always seemed like we just got whatever we want. And it was just once my mom really got hooked on the drugs real bad, that's when I seen the change in my life. So my sisters, their perspective is because at the end of the day, I really got to see my mom and dad at their height. They always kind of seen them when they was on their lows,
you've
so
always seen them. You've seen them at their high before. I
so I used to
see.
always had to tell my sisters like, well, y'all can't be so critical of them because prior to their slip up, they did any and everything that we could ever want. So I I don't really know what to call it, but it was just kind of just knowing like again, we are human, and at any moment, no matter how great of a job that I try to do or want to do, I could be a terrible dad. My kids could not like me, and so I didn't want to kind of burden myself with holding my parents hostage for something that they couldn't necessarily control. Because again, when once it get to that point, they now have a addiction that, for the most part, overrides the love for you.
Wow.
And that was something that I really had to kind of come to terms with earlier on. I was real resentful. I kind of had an issue with just authority as a whole. Just
Mm-hmm.
because of the situation that I mostly seen my mom in. So
Mm-hmm.
it made me feel like people couldn't tell me nothing.
Mm.
But you start really getting older and really getting to understand how life really works. It kind of desensitized me to wanting to blame them for all my shortcomings. Because ultimately, regardless of what my mom and dad is, my success is based off what I choose to do.
Love it.
And it's just that plain and simple.
I mean, my, Alex, you coming, ain't you? You
Now,
are. I mean, I
It's
love
really
what you're saying. Because what you took was a terrible situation in your family and look for all the bright spots and dealt with that.
we have to. I'm a firm believer, and I constantly tell the youth that I engage and deal with day to day. We do not have no control over anything at all outside of the decisions that we make. So
That's
almost every great person that you could think or dream of has a tragic story.
mm,
If you ever got to sit down and really talk to them one on one and got to see their backgrounds,
yep,
you'll be like, dang, I ain't never know. I never, and that's everybody. But
everybody.
because we're so caught up in celebrating the highs and never speaking of the lows, that people don't believe that they supposed to go through the low times. So for me personally, it was just understanding that this part of your path,
Yep,
and in order for you to truly be great at what you're doing, you kind of have to experience it all. I had to come from a bad family to know what that looked like, to then be able to go out here and help the kids that I service every single day. I had to
yeah,
be out here in the streets, even though I was never deep into hustling or nothing like that. But I had to see what it was like for people to had to wake up every day and make a choice. Do I eat? Do I do this? Do I do like people really have to choose between, and being
you
young,
can't
I
do
didn't
both.
really.
You can't do both. You got to choose. Sometimes you got to choose eat or medicine or hustle. Something you got to make this choice. It's unbelievable, man.
But we believe that we should and could have it all, which we should, but unfortunately it isn't set up for us like that. So we're stuck making choices day to day and what's more important.
Yep,
So I really use those moments in my life to understand that, this was to prepare me truly for the things that I'm about to face.
I
I
love it.
always felt like I was going to make a difference in this world. I didn't know what it was or how I was going to look or, but I always felt like I was different, and it's never, wasn't weird or nothing like that, but I just knew like, yo, I'm not prototypical. So I tell my kids like, yo, embrace who you are and just focus on that. Yo, where you come from don't matter. Who you
Ah,
got don't matter, because once you start becoming who you supposed to be, they'll all be there. The girls, the friends, the family, everybody will pop up out of the blue when you become successful.
hmm.
You focus on the success and make people want to have you in their lives, because we all get used in life, every single one of us. It's just making sure that the individuals that's using you aren't just using you. So that's just where I was at with it.
I'm listening to you. I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here and let you talk
Yeah,
because
not like I
you
say, man.
are doing a great job.
I really want our people to understand, man. The biggest problem that we face is addressing the self-help that we all need. Ultimately, we all have been scarred, dragged, and beaten like we was dirty rugs.
We are traumatized, all of us.
So it's expected for us to be hostile and
Yep.
irritated, and like these things are to be expected. But we got to understand that we all facing the same challenges. And the only way that that's going to change is if we come together as a whole and we decide how our future going to look. It's too many hands that's not in our community that kind of shape and voice how our community move and operate. So we got to really get back to it just being us deciding that we not cool with guys coming around here shooting up blocks and thinking they just going to chill. Like we as a whole has to make a collective kind of bargain agreement and just say, yo, look, this what we doing, this what we not doing, this who allowed, this who not allowed. Like we got to get to that,
Yep.
and it's the confidence in yourself and knowing, yo, we don't need nobody else. Right now, we feel like we need everybody.
Listen, you are saying it because we're in a society that teaches you to be dependent. It tells you that you need to teach your kids and everybody around you to be independent. Get out the house, do your own stuff. But they create society with all of it is dependence. Our society, I tell people, is a drug because you continue to get drugged up by convenience, by the money, by what's fresh, what's hot. All of this stuff is got these new cars. We live in a drugged up, so we're drugged up as people. So we expect in our mindset, the police supposed to do that. The state's attorney's supposed to do this. And this one is and you go to work every day. You ain't help near a child. You don't help anybody. You don't volunteer. You don't come in the hood. You don't even visit. You don't do nothing around your people ever. But you can point fingers about, oh, well, this one should be doing this and this one is doing. We got to give each other's grace. I heard you say it, and you're right. Grace is where it is. Anybody who's been attacked and oppressed like us has to be angry. I don't know why we want to be superhuman. I was saying this to someone else. They were saying to me that we got to get it together. We got to this and we got to that. I said, but where's the grace for Black people? Like any other person who get all of these hits would not be able to get up. Why are we expected? And we have expectations on ourselves. Like, get over it. You can do it. Oh, we are human like every other race.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? Even in our own community, we have no grace for each other, but white folks can still come in our community and we'll partner with them. How can we have grace for the person that put you in this situation? I don't care if it's their kids, their grandkids, their extra kids. I don't care who it is. It's still the people. If you can have grace for them, you got to have grace for your own who's actually having to deal with the pressure. And I don't see that with us, Alex.
Oh no, you're absolutely right, and it kind of goes to the teaching and things. You know, we never been taught to be dependent on each other.
Never.
Help has always been an outsider when it comes to our people. You know, so again, I don't fault anybody for feeling like, yo, we need a savior, because it always been depicted.
Damn it, I fault them. Now that's the only thing we're not going to agree with. I love you to death, but I fault them.
Oh yeah, no, they get some blame, but
cannot kill you and save you. See, that's the difference in our savior. The savior has set you up to fail, but then it comes now to save.
It kind of go back to the teachings, Queen. It's almost like if you have a young kid that was Caucasian that was raised by racists. The thing that kid speak and say, you have to take it with a grain of salt, because you understand that it's not really his true opinions. True. It's the opinions of the people around him that just been shoved down his throat, that he now believe that that's his opinion. So most times when people speak,
so wait a minute. So you say that. So what do you mean? What do you do with that person? Because that same person is deadly, even though they were taught it.
They are. Yeah. But then it's a point of re-educating. We don't re-educate. Just like with gun control, right? Mm-hmm. Most people speak out against citizens having the right to bear arms, right?
Right.
But in the same sentence, it is okay for a 7-year-old to go hunting with his dad to shoot a bear, to shoot a deer, to shoot a rabbit, to shoot a squirrel. So because we're not educating our people on the appropriate ways to do things and what they're truly for, then it's the kid figuring it out on his own. I got a gun. I only know guns to do one thing from the beginning of time. In every movie, every song, every video game, they only use guns for one thing. You know, so because we're not properly educating our people, and then we're holding them to that standard that you should know better. Yes. How, when they've never taught better?
That's what I don't get. I try to say it all the time. Oh, they should know better. Oh, they got it. These boys. I'm like, they don't know better.
Exactly. So we gotta really get back to the educating of our people. Like I said, we want them to work as a unit. Our leaders have to do that.
Are they working as a unit? That's the question. Exactly. You want the children to work, but are you working?
Exactly. You can't look nowhere in the city and find true unity within programming.
Yep.
And it's all beneficial for the moment when we can get something out of it, but ain't nothing really etched in stone on, yo, this is the way for said community. That never happens. You know, so again, people had become frustrated in knowing, because this is big business. If it's one thing I have to be clear on, this is big business.
Now, when you say this, when we say this, are we saying the violence we see, the shootings that we see? This is big business, right? Is that what you're saying?
Everything,
Everything,
everything.
everything
Th-
that we see in Baltimore, someone is reaping the benefit. I tell people
Absolutely.
the
You look at
reason
the
why
death.
we have the number one hospital in the country is because they make sick people. They keep people sick. So you got to have sick people to have a number one research hospital. You got to have a population to test. You you got if you to have a police force that gets the amount of money that our police force is getting, you got to have crime. Why would you get rid of crime? Who's gonna get that money? So
Exactly. So
we got to look at the precipice of why things are present. Because I promise you, if there was no money in guns, they'd be gone.
absolutely.
If there was no
First,
money in drugs, it'd be gone. It's because
first.
money's in it.
So that and that's the one thing that again, our kids aren't fools. They aren't dummies.
They
They
are.
they see everybody around them reaping the benefit of trying to save their lives, yet doing nothing. So before I allow you to sit there and get rich off me, I'm gonna get rich off me.
Let me
We
see.
got 2,000 programs in Maryland,
How many?
and again, I'm just throwing out numbers. I'm
Oh,
not.
okay, I thought you knew. Okay, I know it's a million
Yeah, I'm
nonprofits.
being
Listen,
funny.
yeah,
I'm
this is.
being funny. It's like 10,000 programs in
I
Maryland, but
agree.
yeah,
100,000. Yep.
nothing for our kids to be into. All the programs that truly do the groundbreaking work gets no support at all. And then you have plenty of organizations that have a name, just a name, but yet they are the ones that receive all the funding, all the resource fairs, all everything that the community truly needs.
Can I tell?
Then
Can I
goes,
name them? I know you're not gonna name them. Who's gonna name those
oh
programs?
yeah, well, if you was to name them, there's nothing I can say about it. But
I don't want you to name them, but there's a lot of them. You're right. You know,
yeah,
they're getting a lot of money. The living classrooms. You want me to lay them all out? They all get money, but is the living classroom in the hood? That's my question. Is the
uh,
living classroom building in the hood so the people can live? It's not. It's at the harbor on the water.
yes,
So that's why I have a problem when we put everything on pedestals, but they're not in the problem areas. They're in the harbor,
exactly.
safe on the water where you pull up.
Hmm.
Beautiful scenery. But when you go up in the hood, ain't no water. Matter of fact, the water got lead in it. Let's be clear.
Exactly.
So you're
Exactly.
saying what you're saying is correct. We have programming everywhere, and we have a violence level that's going to break next year's violence level.
Absolutely. And again, it goes to the opportunity of everybody to continue to live comfortable, except for the individuals that should be living comfortable. Because truth be told, every community across America, every city has been underserviced and pimped out.
Poverty pimps are everywhere. I'm telling you, I'm in South Carolina a lot, and there's plenty of poverty pimps in South Carolina. I'm in North Carolina, poverty pimps, New York, poverty, they're everywhere. And the
Exactly.
country's, this country is built on taking and taking control of oppressing people. So you see it being replicated systematically and it replicates itself over and over. And people say, well, you keep talking about the same thing because the same thing is being replicated. We act like the society has changed. Why are you talking
That's the,
about that? Because it's still happening.
that's the one thing that always tripped me out about surveys that get done in communities. What are y'all actually tracking? Because last time I checked, y'all had the data from 15 years ago. Nothing changed. In fact, everything then got worse. So if you need the numbers, just add an extra 100
That's
to
right.
whatever you're doing, and that'll get you where you need to be. But when it comes to actual change, it's absolutely none.
It's
You
absolutely
know, like I say, we really got to stop putting our kids on a path of feeling like they have no future.
mm. So
Um,
that's the path our children, because you out here with them, and that's one of the reasons I want to have you, because you have conversations with the brothers on the street.
Absolutely.
You out your job is on the street. Rain,
Uh,
sleet, snow, you're out there. Am I correct?
Nah, you definitely telling the truth. If you would like, I would turn my camera real quick just so you can see
Let's do it.
kind of.
Let the people see. Let's do it.
So I'm on Monument and Rose right now,
Okay.
and there's just a little bit of people out here. Remind you, we had 60 shots yesterday.
Look at him. You had
Yeah,
six.
see,
I love black men. So you
yeah,
saying you had
like,
60 shots. So tell the folks what that means.
well, fear, absolute fear at the most. I was actually coming across the street from the store, get me a coffee. That's kind of one of my big fixes. Is I drink about 10 cups of coffee a day. I need to stop it.
Whoa.
But I was on my way back from, getting a coffee, and unfortunately, as soon as I stepped on the other side of the street, the shots rung out. The young man Sean that lost his life, his brother that got shot with him, he could potentially have his leg amputated. The other young man, he had his leg broke in 4 different spots.
How
And
old
the
are these
young
young
lady,
people? How old are they?
25,
Oh,
2 was 27, and 1 was 40. And these was individuals that was just outside. And anytime an individual sprays an automatic weapon, none of them bullets have tracking devices on. They ain't got no homing devices where they know exactly where they going at and who they hitting. So when you fire 60 rounds, 80 rounds into a open block, that's
you don't know who you're
kid
gonna kill.
about anybody that's out there. It's not worrying about you hitting who you looking for. It's just you trying to hit whoever, and when it get to that, it really forced the residents to feel trapped and boxed in. We're constantly robbing our kids from actually having the life that they supposed to. It is no more going outside, having fun till the street lights come on.
They
None
can't
of
do
that.
that. Can't even do
You
that.
know, and that's why I stated when I first started our conversation that our kids are living and making adult decisions every single day. They really have to move and operate as if they're grown little people.
And it's so unfortunate because they don't have enough reference material. And that's why you see some of what we see. They have not lived enough to have enough experience to be as rational and make the right decisions. And not that grown-ups make all the right decisions, but we pull from our knowledge base. A lot of
Yeah,
decisions I make is now because I'm older. I have reference material inside of me. Young people don't, and they don't have parents, and they don't have anybody to support them, and they're traumatized. And we still
absolutely.
expect for them to go to school, be quiet, do what they're supposed to do. What is wrong with us? What the hell is wrong with us?
You
Because,
asked the right question.
because I
You
want folks
definitely asked the
to
right
get
question.
it. It's like, let's get this thing. And we got to stop talking around it. What we want for our children, and we see young people doing, could you do it if your mom and them wasn't there? If grandmama them didn't step in? Imagine they don't have none of that. Some of them are heads of their own household with their siblings because their parents are on the street. A lot of that's going on out here.
It's more than a lot of that. That's like I said, that's about 60% of our kids. So 2 years ago, I started a partnership with Loyola University.
Okay.
We had started a pen pal slash entrepreneurship program.
Mm.
And the premise behind it was because when the summer had wrapped up, I had about 8 students that was in my boxing program come up to me and express how they needed to get basically school clothes and stuff for their brothers and sisters.
Huh?
And it was like, oh,
Wait. The young kids, what's the ages in your boxing program, Max? What's the ages?
so technically speaking, for insurance purposes, it's 10 and above.
Stay
But
there.
I tell
Stay there. Stay there. You might do different. Let's stay there. We're on camera. So 10 and above is the age group of what's at to what, 21 or
no. So it's 10 to unlimited. We have seniors.
I love
Uh,
it.
We have women. We have, of
Okay.
course, the men that come in court, and then Uncle T that do challenge for change.
Uncle T,
He
yes.
bring his guys down on the regular to work out and use the facility.
But I'm
Like
talking about
we
your program of kids is from
absolutely
10 and above.
yes,
10 and above. So you telling me these young people are expressing to you that they need clothes for their siblings.
absolutely. I had 8 kids come up to me, and at the time they was about 14, 15, because they was going to school with my son. And like I said, they expressed that like, yo, now the school starting, I need to try to find a job or something because I got to get us back to school stuff. And I'm like, what you mean? Which I need book bags or something? Like, nah, I gotta get us clothes and shoes. So after speaking to the young lady Nina at Loyola, um, we actually decided to one start bridging the gap of communities and getting everybody to just see each other as just people. So many of the students at Loyola University come from well-off to do backgrounds.
Yeah,
Most
affluence.
of them,
Affluence.
absolutely. But
Hmm.
then they also going to school to become future bosses.
Yep.
Very few of the students was going to school to be a worker. So to me, it created an opportunity to build a networking system where our students will always have access to people that had jobs that was ready. And we all know in life, it's all about who you know more or less of what you know.
True.
The right people, it'll take you mighty, mighty far.
Yep.
So I'm trying to bridge the gap and build the relationships with our kids now. So by the time they turn 18, 19, 20, that they got a direct career path that they can go into, that they can sustain a lifestyle for their families. But with that, most of the kids I found out had a creative side to them. They could draw. They was good at digital art, making logos, all types of things. But I ain't really know that. So again, talking to Nina and the kids overall, we decided to start a program. We had printed out 2,000 shirts from 4 different designs that the kids had created between our students and the students at Loyola University. We then took the shirts and split them up between the kids that was in the Team Redemption boxing program, and we allowed them to sell them shirts for whatever they could get for them, and use that funding to then go and do whatever they needed to do, regardless if it's getting y'all book bags, school
Wow.
shoes, pants, whatever you needed. You now know you have the funding for it, and it
Wow.
would relieve a burden from the family and knowing that they got to kind of stress out last minute to get these things done.
Wow.
So and that again helped me realize like, yo, it really don't take nothing to make a difference in somebody's life. It's just connecting them.
Just connecting them, plugging them up. I love that.
Right.
So I could talk to you forever, but we're gonna move on to I want to hear about what you do. So
No problem.
you are a violence interrupter for
Absolutely.
Safe Streets. What does that mean?
So primarily it's really to go out in the community and just change the thinking norms of said community members and just getting them understand that everything don't have to escalate so fast. We don't have to go from 0 to 1,000 over every little incident. In almost every situation, you never have that positive voice echoing the things you shouldn't do, but you'll get 10 million voices on telling you what you should do for the negative and
Yeah,
to your demise.
yeah.
So we really at Safe Streets create that moment of pause and just giving, members the opportunity to kind of save face. Most people don't want the shootings. They don't want the war. They don't want the fights, because they know it always go to the next level. But nobody wants to kind of look like the punk in a sense. So at Safe Streets, we really give community members the opportunity to save face so everybody can walk away with their pride still intact
Hmm.
and still come back out and provide for your family. Because ultimately you out here to do just that one thing.
Mm.
You know,
That's amazing. So, I've heard being out in community, I hear people talk about like the two programs that you hear about in Baltimore: ceasefire and safe
mhm,
streets.
yeah,
And I've heard so many people say they ain't both of them ain't doing nothing. They ain't doing nothing.
mhm,
They ain't helping nobody. Look at all of the crime. Look at the neighborhoods. Now, safe streets didn't create these neighborhoods and the blight and the vacant homes. They didn't create none of that. None of the trash in our neighborhood. Safe streets ain't do none of that. That's
absolutely.
Baltimore City government. That's policy.
Mhm,
Be clear. No one pointing fingers at them though. And safe streets did not. The violence that we see is the manifestation of broken policy. That
absolutely.
we see children now because they come from brokenness, and we see how they now act 10, 20 later after crack and dope and now pills. We're going to see more and more. It's just going to continue because the manifestation of drugs and the lifestyle that drugs bring into community, even your own life, you lived it. If you
Yeah.
weren't positive, God knows what you would be. So when I look at ceasefire and safe streets and people say they're not doing anything, what do you say to that?
I really would just like to argue them down on that fact. The
Okay.
one thing I really try to get people to understand, one, Safe Streets as an organization, we only cover 2.6 miles of the whole city.
Did y'all hear that?
Um,
Say that again, bro.
yeah, we only cover 2.6 miles. A lot of people have the common misconception that Safe Streets is a citywide initiative, that we're in all communities, all neighborhoods, and we're really not. We're in 10 communities total. And unfortunately, most sites aren't staffed how they should be. The area that we patrol consists of 24 blocks. So when you take that into consideration and you have 4 workers that's manning a 24 block radius,
Hmm.
it's impossible for them guys to stay on top of every single situation. And again, what most people have to understand about the Safe Street workers, our only weapon to combat violence is good conversation. We don't have bulletproof vests. We don't have attack dogs. We don't have guns, pepper spray, none of that. I got the words out my mouth, reaching your ears, and that's it. The key to what makes Safe Streets a major success in our city is the fact that we actually have bonds with the people in our community, without question. The communities that Safe Streets serve, you will not hear them say, well, Safe Streets don't do this, that, and the third. Because again, we have intimate relationships with our community members, our community leaders, store owners, and all that. So it's just really just getting the people to understand. Because most people really, I believe, have the notion that we cover the whole city and like it's 1,000 of us, like we're a police force or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. I want people to hear this because that's something I didn't know neither. I
No,
didn't know.
absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't know
You
about the
know,
2.6 miles.
Absolutely. We only cover 2.6 miles. And within that 2.6 miles, if you compare our numbers citywide to the police and overall crime as a whole, we have decreased crime in the neighborhoods that we serve at a bad minimum of 45%.
That's beautiful.
And
So
that's again,
I got a whole different respect. Did not know, but I don't understand. You in the middle, you in the seat of violence, and they
mhm,
just all you use is conversation, which is nothing. I don't think you should have all of this stuff, but I think that if you want people to step up to be in the seat of violence, because ain't no police gonna do what you do.
they can't.
No,
It's
because their only guard is the gun. That's
not
why
only that,
they're out there.
it's impossible. And I really want people to understand this. I cannot go to Anne Arundel County and
Hmm.
tell them people anything about Anne Arundel County. I'm
Mm,
not. I don't
got
have
it.
no stake or
Yeah,
no skin in the game. You
yeah.
know, but what we do, what makes us successful is the people who can touch us. They know us. They done seen the growth in us. They understand that we once was them. We
Mm,
want the same path of feeling lost and confused, not knowing our way out. But we found a way.
wow.
So we continue to show people and tell people, just have the patience and understanding that your moment of change is coming. Our kids just get robbed of that moment of actual change. They're dying before they're 25.
I know. I
They're-
know.
So they're never actually able to reach their growth point. I reached my growth point at 24. I was a piece of trash. Not saying my mindset was totally different than what it is now.
Sure,
I
sure.
wasn't about the people or nothing. I felt like the
Man,
average.
you, me too. I was a mess. 24, I was an idiot.
So that's what I was talking about, man. I ain't got time to save nobody. They better save themselves. But I realized as I got older, brothers, is not like that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so again, we're robbing our kids that opportunity to truly become great. And that's the only true difference that we get to see in the generations.
I love what
Our
you're saying. We're robbing our kids of the chance to be great because they're dying too early, because they make a mistake and they're never able to correct that mistake. They're
never.
dead or they're in jail.
Exactly. You
Wow.
know, and with that said, like I say, we just have to know it's our fault too. As much as we want to play the blame game and say this, that, and the third, look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself all the times you dropped the ball, all the times that you wasn't there for your kids, all the times you ain't make the right decision. You're not willing to do that. Because again, individual accountability come into play. We don't want to be accountable for any decision that anybody else make, even though we forced them to make that decision.
Hmm. So we're gonna dig a little deeper into the safe streets. I'm gonna talk about it a little because, listen, I got a lot more respect for safe streets. I mean, I was one of those people like, listen, what they doing, but I didn't know the whole. I know more now, so I'm so glad I had you. But what I do want to know is this a how's it funding? The city pays? Are you city workers?
Uh, so we're subcontracted through the city.
Through the city. That's what I wanted to know. So you
Yes,
subcontracted through the city. And the city, the thing about what I'm trying to get out is that the city is when you see subcontracting, that means the city has a buffer in place between them. So the money is going to somebody and then they're subcontracting you. Am I correct?
absolutely.
And so this is why we cannot grow, because the city, which is in control of the blight and everything we see, the city has good too. I'm not saying it's all bad, but it has some bad and it has some good. But what we see in community and Black communities, Baltimore City government has allowed the decay, the blight, the drugs, everything that we see that's been allowed. If not, it would be eradicated. So they've
Exactly.
allowed that. And so that same city finds a conduit or a buffer in between, like a safe streets, pays
Yes.
them to pay you,
Yes.
right? Am I
Yes.
correct? So when that to me is where in lies the problem, because the buffer that's paying you don't live on Monument Street, don't know anything about Monument and Rose. They
Absolutely.
know about a boardroom, and they're just disseminating money, and they're making decisions for communities that they have no vested interest in. Am I wrong or right? I want to make sure.
Oh no, that again, that's how I was saying. You know,
That's
it's
what I'm asking. Because if the
no.
city's
It's
involved, they're not directly doing anything. They find a way to move money. So the money, there has to be a buffer in between the money coming into Safe Streets
yes,
and then paying you.
yes.
So you who handles Monument and Rose?
Uh, living classrooms would living classrooms controls Bel Air Road and Miami Street.
Okay. And listen, this is no attack on living classrooms. I don't know anything about living classrooms. What I do know is where they office is. Your office is on Monument and Rose.
Yes.
Their
No.
office,
Our office is on
okay,
Monument and Patterson Park,
yeah,
2312 Monument.
pardon me, bro. Your office is on Monument Street, right?
Yes.
Living classrooms is out there in the harbor.
Yes. Same Street.
Very beautiful building. Frederick Douglass has his face is out front, which I'm sure he probably couldn't be there. But now that he's dead, they can put a big metal face of Frederick Douglass head there. But that's what I'm saying. A living classrooms that has no ties to Bel Air Road or Monument Street is making the rules for the people who are suffering. Herein
Yes,
lies the problem. This is why we never get past our real issues, because you cannot have the same people who are problems solve the problem. Being honest, I'm not saying living classrooms are attackers. There's no attack on living classrooms. But I'm
I,
clear that if you don't live in the damn neighborhood, you should not make any, you should have nothing to say, and you should allow people, you can have some type of structure in place, but you should allow others in that community to actually do what that community needs. Because you don't have a clue.
absolutely, and that's kind of a little bit of why I had spoke about me not being able to say nothing to the residents of Anne Arundel County. Um, Again, it's the skin in the game.
Because those
That's
people
not
won't respect what you say, right?
that's not my community to speak on.
But you see how Baltimore City does it. They know that living classrooms can't say nothing, but they find you guys. But see, really, when something goes bad, it falls on Safe Street's name. I ain't never heard Living Classroom's name, and you're not. And I'm sure they're making decisions. We have to be in control of our communities, our
Absolutely,
programming, and our children. And if the
absolutely.
city is in it and they can't trust the people in the neighborhood, then we need to find a way to fuel it ourselves. I hate to say it.
The one thing I would just like to quickly add, if I could,
Add anything.
we recently transitioned to the mayor's office. Uh, maybe 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, we was under the health department.
Okay.
Um, Transitioning to the mayor's office, I have to say, has been a benefit to the overall program, just
Great.
in seeing that again, it's starting to focus the attention on where it should be. Um, Again, when it's private entities that is involved, like you alluded to many times, they have their own objectives and missions that they want to accomplish. I believe that the city has recognized that as a whole. And, with that, that was one of the reasons why they kind of pulled us under their office to start getting the leadership where it should be, as far as representation of community members.
Got it. Got it.
Station has always been a big advocate of hiring from within. So in almost every situation where you see a director, a supervisor get promoted, it had always came from within the Safe Street sites,
Got it.
which helped add to the success of the program. Because again, it's getting individuals that kind of walk every facet of life. It's kind of like if you work in the kitchen,
Yeah.
you come in as a dishwasher. By the time you leave, you're executive chef.
Absolutely. You go through the ranks. Mm-hmm.
So we really created that atmosphere, which again helped the buy-in from the community aspect. Because again, they got to see the journeys in each individual life that was an employee of Safe Street.
Mm.
That gives hope to community members.
Your
'Cause
representation matters. You need to see yourself.
absolutely,
You need to see that Safe Streets, the guys in Safe Streets, they didn't just come out and be violence interrupters. At one time, they was the violence. Let's be clear. So now, they're interrupting violence because they understand and they're giving
exactly.
back to the community. And that's a beautiful thing. So, yeah, I wanted to kind of bring that out, that we say Safe Streets, and I don't know about ceasefire, but these programs have buffers in between them that actually make the rules, and they're
Yeah,
not black folk.
Safe Streets do not make its own decision because each site is individually ran and operated.
So say that again. So people understand that Safe Streets is all over the city. Oh no, it's in 10 communities, 2.6
10 communities,
miles, and in those
2.6
10
radius.
communities, every one it has their own rules.
Yes. that's one of the things that we've been getting clear and focusing on becoming universal. But again, like I said, because each site was independently ran by CBO, it then kind of gave the CBO. It's not speaking negative against the CBOs or
What's
anything
the
like that.
CBO?
The CBO is the chief.
Business.
I'm so sorry.
Business officer.
Yeah, business. I'm sorry. I'm tied up today. I'm a little tired, but
That's fine.
it's
So the chief business officer is the person that takes care of
that
the business.
exactly that's oversee the program, the contracts, etc., budgets, etc., etc.
Okay,
Um,
and for your program, Safe Streets, is living classrooms.
yes, we
Okay,
just do the groundwork.
so
We get
y'all
out
do the
here.
groundwork. So I want the people to know. So you hear that? So the money comes into the CBO. The CBO is usually an organization that the city has a relationship with. So as we see that the pain of the people, always the money flows to other people first, and
Yes,
then it comes to help the people. But it's really not to help the people, because if you really want to help the people, you just give them the money, or you actually do things in the community and change everything: the schools, the neighborhood, the food. If you really wanted to help people, you do a comprehensive shakeup of the community. But what you do is this nonprofit complex foolishness that we're doing. That's really not addressing issues. It's just moving money around. Wow. So I don't. I just have to talk about it because we want to find out solutions. The community is mad at Safe Streets, and the community is mad at Ceasefire, and the community is mad at everybody. But nobody's mad at these nonprofits. Nobody's angry with Baltimore City policy and the things that we see in community. We got to point fingers at the real issues, and the real
exactly,
issues is not the people. The people
exactly,
they would never act like this if you treat them like humans. When you treat a person like an animal, how you expect them to act like a human? You gonna get animal.
So the famous quote, the definition of insanity,
Ah, right.
and that's what we relive every single day.
Every single day. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. So in your family, you had a tragedy.
Yes,
You lost your sister.
yes. Back in 2017 on Miami and Rose, unfortunately, the same block that the 60 shots was let off on yesterday.
You're kidding me, man.
Nah,
So and she died from gunfire, gunshots.
absolutely. She was shot 5 times in the back um, by a young man that she kind of embraced. Him and his family had allowed them to stay with her for about 2 years until they got back on their feet and everything. And
What?
the one thing I would like to say was that the young man was really set up for failure. Um, and I'm really like kind of tired of us doing this to our kids, sending them out there under the false narrative of being a victim when the whole time we kind of got what we asked for, because the young man mom had lied and expressed that my sister and some guys on the block had jumped her versus she lost a fight to my sister that she started. I mean, she spit on
Mm.
my hit her with the bottle and all that before my sister reacted. And when she did react, she ended up coming out on top temporarily. Um, 5 minutes after they got finished fighting, she was shot 5 times in the back. You know,
So after a fight with the two between two women,
yes,
the young man came back, which was his mother,
yeah, he was called back by his mother
by
and
his mother.
lied.
So his mother called her son to protect her. In other words, and she didn't tell the truth. And he to put the protection that he thought was to kill your sister. That's 5 times
That's what he
going
came up with,
on with us.
you know,
And we're talking about young ladies. So a young man comes up to a young lady and shoot her in the back 5 times.
absolutely. And
That's not
again,
human behavior.
it, but I continue to say this. Like I say that monster was created. if my mother called me and told me some guys and a lady jumped on her in almost every circumstance, I would react the same way. So I'm not about to sit here and act like I couldn't find myself in a similar situation or anything like that. But the
Okay.
saddest part in it, that it was all over a lie.
But protecting of your mother doesn't mean you have to kill somebody else.
It doesn't, but
As a young
I,
man.
I understand our kids' thought process to a degree. You know,
Mm, it's a lot.
again,
I'm really sorry for your loss. And also, Destiny,
oh,
we have someone who's listening to us. She lost her son. He was
yes,
killed and dismembered.
yes.
And
Sorry for
yeah, I'm sorry for her loss. Also, she's doing amazing things in Oklahoma. But you never. I don't care what you do. You don't forget your family member. You don't forget your child, and you don't
oh
forget
no.
your sibling. And
I'm a, I'm a firm believer she isn't gone anywhere. I tell people all the time, she can't be used anymore. My family has always been outrageously giving family. The shirts off our back, our last dollar, like we got no problem helping somebody out.
okay.
So to me, she's just gone from the people that in sense wanted to use her.
Wow.
But for me, my family, like we always, I talk to my sister every single day. It may sound crazy,
No,
but I
I'm not
do.
going crazy. Our
You know,
ancestors are present. We've been taught to not deal with our ancestors. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to have that show too. Is I know a priestess that can move can teach you how to talk to your ancestors and how to bring them and deal with you every day. So you understand we live in this Western thought that when somebody dies, they're gone, but our ancestors are here. They
absolutely.
they're here and we can source them. And so I think I'm going to have that show because we lose so much as Black people, our children, and we need to be able to still access them and understand that they are here in our realm. They're watching us. They're here.
And if you could, I would love if you could add me to that when you do it.
Yeah, I'm going to do
Um,
that show. I talked to her about that before. We did something. We talked about it on a show that she was on, but I'm gonna have a show just on that because we got to find a way to displace this trauma and this grief. It's an attack on us as a people, and when we're losing people, some of us lose our minds.
my
We gotta,
sister,
yeah.
she kind of went down that road. Unfortunately, once most people don't understand about me, I lost my mom and my sister 5 months apart from each other.
Mm,
Um, but with that, it drove my sister Alexis kind of off the deep end. She had already suffered from bipolar and schizophrenia, and it was
mm.
like once she took those two losses, it took her to a whole new planet.
Yeah, a lot of people don't come back. They just don't come back.
And it really been kind of hard. I would have to say the the dealing with the other side of it was more difficult than the actual death because I never expected to see my sister break like that, and
So it's two sisters that you had, and you, or three sisters.
no, two sisters and me.
Two sisters. So now it's just you and your sister,
Yes, my
and
youngest sister.
and this sister has had a hard time dealing with the death.
Absolutely. Still to this day. Um, and again, she's sitting right here. I'm gonna give you a quick glance of her.
Yeah, let me see. Okay, that's your sister. All right.
But
Got
as you can kind of see, she kind of in her own little mood right now. Like,
yeah,
and these one of the good days,
really.
and
Wow. I'm so sorry. I'm
so
absolutely sorry.
that's why I always try to champion the mental health and just understanding the brightness and everything. The minute you focus on all the bad stuff, that's usually when your life takes a turn for the worse. So
Mhm.
as long as you can always find positive in the things you do, you'll always be okay. We get, like I say, our people didn't lost faith. We didn't took so many losses repeatedly that it's impossible to feel like anything is normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I kind of refuse to trap myself, to
Mm.
make myself a prisoner to the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all don't have that sense of strength and urgency in us to understand how to let those moments pass. Don't forget about them, don't erase them, but just have that moment pass and you learn from it. You know, if it was one thing I could took from my sister death, it was just kind of understanding and knowing the people around you. Because again, my
Hmm.
sister didn't get killed by a stranger. This wasn't an individual that she didn't know or
It
never
was
seen.
somebody you knew.
Somebody she took care of. Forget
Oh,
you. The young man lived in her house for 2 years. She fed him, she clothed him, she took care of him like it was her child. You know, so it just it just made me real aware of my surroundings,
yeah.
you know, and understanding that everything ain't that serious. You know, that all was over a fight with a friend, allegedly.
So unfortunate. So unfortunate. I wanted, I wanted people to see every aspect of you, Alex. I'm getting my
Yeah.
water, so pardon me. Every aspect from the worker that was safe streets as a violence interrupter to a fam. How you think about your family. I learned some things about you tonight, and to you as a black man, and because a lot of times we don't hear black men talk. There's no space for you guys to say how you feel and how you're moving in this community or in society. And to
Exactly.
hear you and you're out talking to other young people, I'm inspired. We need this, and we need to know that there are positive black men out here trying, you
Oh
know.
yeah, it's way more than myself. I'm not even gonna sit here and
You know,
act like I say, like you just said, Quinn. We don't get the credit.
no, no.
It's so many great men and women out here that then made a conscious decision to do something that's different and a
Mhm.
positive. But again, it's supporting those people, and again, supporting the people that actually do the work.
Absolutely.
The key to the change that we find necessary in our community.
Can you say that again? Say that to the people in the back.
The
Support.
key
Thank you.
that we need in our community is
Hmm.
the support of the people that actually do the work. It's too many people out here that's doing this great work day in, day out, that's getting no financial support, no resources for job fair, ID readiness, no nothing. But
That is
they're stuck
true.
out here every day making a difference. You
I
know, so
love
we
it.
got to find ways to really support and champion our own and make them into the foundations that they supposed to be.
And that's what I want
You
people to
know?
hear. Black boxes, not everyone can do this work. I'm clear about that. Not
Mhm.
everyone could be a violence interrupter. I can't even do your work. This is my work, but I can't do what you're doing. So not everyone could be out here. Not everyone could work with these young people. But find a program that is.
Exactly.
And give money to it. Give your time to it. If you just come in to run off papers, come in to bring supplies, whatever, we got to support these type of programming because you can't point fingers at the children if you ain't doing shit. Sorry, y'all. Y'all got to get a curse on Wednesday. This cursing Wednesday.
Now
So
that's facts.
that's
That's facts.
fact. So if you're not doing nothing, then don't say nothing. But
Exactly.
there's plenty great people, and I'm going to keep bringing them on because I want you to. There's plenty programs out here. You got Uncle T. I mean, we can go on and on. That East Side, it is plenty. It's young men doing good stuff out here on the
And
East
we
Side, on
can't,
the West Side, everywhere. But we need
yeah,
to put them out so people can see.
and we can't forget. I gotta give my big homie, Mr. C, a big shout out at Rose Street Community Center because
Mhm.
he was one individual that truly gave me the opportunity to believe in myself. Again, I
Mm.
was one of the men that was outside every single day, caught up in emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my gym started. because Mr. C saying what I was doing with the kids in my house every single day, he got me a grant.
Mm.
So I gotta tip my hat to him because he done that for me and 200 other people in this community, from the Tangier family to Uncle T to Esho. Again, we got to champion our own and make sure that they get their roses when they deserve them.
That's
All
it.
that waiting until our people are gone and then we want to talk about how great they were. No, we need to celebrate them now.
Yep.
And that's our kids too. Stop waiting until it's too late to talk about how great their life was and how much. No, ensure that their life continue to be great. Ensure that they got another 20 years to go out here and make you that proud mother, that proud father. Like that got to be our focus.
Yep. That
So I
is.
just really want to appreciate you and thank you, Queen, for giving me and others the opportunity to just have a voice heard and get the people to understand the hard work that's being put in here day in, day out for not only our kids and them, but ourselves. Because every part of this is like therapy to me. Like I said, I
True.
lost my sister in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And to be come outside every single day and deal with people that didn't face similar losses and still be strong is a blessing in itself.
Mm. It
You
is.
know, I take pride in just being able to go out in my community and make real change to the people. And that's the same type of effect that all of us will feel. It ain't even about no dollar amount or nothing. I don't never ask nobody for no money or anything. I always tell people, if you want to support us, be with us. Come out
Mm.
there, spend time with our kids. Know what we doing. Know what you supporting.
Yep.
Don't give me no money and you don't know what I do. Nah, you want to see what it is. You come out and you make the connection in the community. You
Yeah.
build a relationship that way. Then your money, yeah, it mean more than the people appreciate it way more than they ain't gonna appreciate nothing from somebody. I'm saying, like, so we really got to get back to the human aspect in all things. We got to
Yeah.
stop carrying things like businesses, like programs. Now we dealing with lives.
Mm.
So we
That's
got to
it.
deal with people as if we're dealing with their life.
Yes. Yes. Man, we can listen to you, bro. I think your next movie, you're gonna be a pastor. My goodness. Like I want to say, I want to say, Amen. My goodness. You
I
listen.
appreciate
I'm telling
it.
you, what you're saying is you're saying it all, and it's because you're toiling every day. See, this comes. What I'm hearing from you comes from the work you're doing. When
Absolutely. Like I
when
said,
you touch these people, it makes you passionate.
these are the opinions. Everything I said was things that my community has voiced to me. These aren't black man opinions and views. These aren't my wants and needs. These are the needs of the people that's out here every single day struggling. And until their voices are heard, they're gonna make you feel it. Right now, we're in the feeling
Wait.
process.
You got to go back and say that again. Until what?
Until our kids are heard, they're gonna make us feel them.
Hmm.
We're feeling them right now.
Hmm.
They tired of having that muted voice where they running their mouths, but ain't nothing. This ain't no Charlie Chaplin film. Ain't no
Hmm.
solid work or nothing. So if you don't want to hear him, you gonna feel him. We gotta
Hmm.
let our kids be heard, man, and we ain't gotta worry about all this hurt and this pain that we see day to day.
That I'm a promoter of that. That we have to find a place so their voice is heard, and their creativity is being celebrated, and they're celebrated as humans. And until
Exactly.
we find spaces for them, they're going to create the space, and you ain't going to like the outcome.
Absolutely. And
And
to
that's
all
what.
my I'm sorry, to all my kids out there that may be listening, I
Hmm.
just want you to know, black man, believe in you, bro. I believe in you, little sis. Whatever it's gonna take to get you where you at, yo, keep focusing on that. I swear to God, everything else will work itself out. But if you could just stay focused, you not get distracted by the BS that's out here, and it's easy to get caught up in it. But I swear, yo, if y'all could just keep y'all tunnel vision locked in, bro, 5 years, all the people that you was chasing will be chasing you. I guarantee you.
That is
So
the
just
jewel of the night. I was going to tell you to say a jewel. You just dropped it. That's the
yeah, sir.
jewel.
Believe in yourself, bro. And don't think that you got to have 100 people believing in you. You believe in you more than anybody else. That's all it takes.
You got to come back.
Absolutely, no
Yeah,
problem.
it's an hour and 15 minutes, but this has been one of the this has been one of the most informative and the most it's authentic. What you're saying is so real. It's so authentic. I feel it. I gotta come to Monument Rose and put my dance on over there with the fellas
Yeah,
and the
come
sisters.
on here, party with us, man.
Oh
We
yeah,
we
I'm gonna
we,
come drop. I'm gonna drop down. You don't tell me because I shows up. I'm gonna drop
around
in. I'm one of them drop in, so I'm definitely gonna come up over there. Listen, I want to know: is the coffee make your skin look like that? Because I've got to start drinking coffee. My damn,
I think it do. It give me that little mocha shine.
wow. Is that caffeine? Oh my
Yeah,
god, that
I believe
caffeine! You
it is.
glowing over there,
I appreciate that, man.
bro? I'm telling you, black men are beautiful, but I'm telling you, tonight you got my cameras on fire. You glowing. I'm like, is coffee doing that? I gotta get me up some. I don't drink coffee, but it's time.
Okay, and you already know you got that natural. So you get a couple cups up in you, you gonna have to be batting them off.
Oh, I better go get me some right now.
Exactly. I just let you in on my cheat move.
I love it. Listen, I'm coming over to your program, Team Redemption. I got it. I came once, but it's time to come back. I'm definitely coming to
23
Monument Road. Monument Roads, I'm coming through there. I'm going to check out the people. I want to get some feelings with them. I appreciate you. You know what? You was after me about the show, and
Oh yeah,
I drug my feet on you. Listen. I apologize.
no problem. Hey, look, I knew that you was about your business, all right? So I just wanted you to understand that when I came, I was gonna come with the realness. I wasn't about to come up here and waste your time and energy. Nah, our people need to be heard. I've been hearing it for the past 7 years. So I got I got enough to put out there so you
You
can
got a
understand.
lot to put out.
Yeah, I know
So
exactly what our people need. So you ever need the real, holler at me. I got you.
I'm a holler for the end. I want you to say one story that was so successful that you guys did as a safe street person. I want to hear that one story. Give me
Yeah,
one story.
absolutely. So back in 2018, I had a
Mhm.
young man that actually had got shot
Mm.
by an individual that was kind of close to me.
Mm.
Um, I was actually able to get both of these guys to squash their beefs, but not only that, both of them end up working in my gym teaching the kids.
What?
So to me, that was the ultimate success story. My man TJ, I don't want to say the other young man name because you know how law works, but
Yep.
you know who I'm talking about. And I gotta tip my hat to them guys, man, because they acted like men. They had real problems and issues, and they was able to actually put that to the side, and then in return, give back to these kids and tell them about their whole situation and how it played out. You know, so that made me feel good because again, to allow another man to walk in the house to his family is the best gift you could ever give him.
That is true.
You understand? Like
Yeah, I understand. To allow
the
him to be able to walk into his family is the best gift ever.
so just being able to provide that comfort and knowing that we had two individuals that realized wanted to take each other's lives. Blood was already lost. One of them was already shot. And these are the stories that every Safe Streets employee deal with on the regular. You know, but the fact, like I said, that I personally knew these guys.
Mm.
And I was, like I said, I was able to get them to really sit that aside and be men. Man, I always be internal grateful to them for just giving me that opportunity. Because they could have easily told me anything. They could have said, all right, Black, we got you. We're going to leave it alone. Da 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 da. 2 hours later, bow, bow, bow. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that wasn't the case. They gave me their word as men and they kept their word as men.
That's good.
5 years later, they still cool. They still see each other and all that.
I love
You
it.
know, so it's just really having that space to actually allow individuals to grow.
That's it. And we're not, our children, as you said, are being robbed of that space. Before they can get to the part of intervention, they're dead or in jail.
Exactly.
Okay. Listen, you are our king for May. You have blessed the Kingdom series. This has been rickety raw, but it's also been so informational and so inspirational to hear your story and hear what the work you're doing in community. I applaud you. I am just so I feel so blessed that I could give you a space. I really
And
do.
I appreciate that.
I really do. If we can't have a space for black men, we can't exist. That's it. That's
And black women.
well,
Don't
black
don't
women.
forget
Listen, I'm a black woman. I know we're important. We bring life.
y'all
But our
backbone.
black men, we need to have spaces for y'all, and we need to, and what we see and what we hear, there's so much fighting amongst women and black men and black women. We got to stop that.
Oh yeah. That's why I say we need each other. Y'all our backbone. So
Mhm.
we not to point no finger, but it might be because of you, sis. So
I love it. I love it. Listen, listen, be blessed. Thank you for coming to
definitely.
the King Home series. You've definitely given us what we needed. We needed. We want to we've had some people speak. Our comments is on fire. So we have a Shaka. We have Hannibal L. We have Lady B was in the house. My girl Shantae.
Shout
And
out to everybody that
shout out
tuned
to
in
everyone. My
too.
girl Destiny. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, they on, they commenting and engage. And I see why, because this was an incredible topic. So listen, Al, you coming back. Just remember that.
Definitely. Just
Yeah,
hit me up.
yeah, you coming back. I really appreciate you. And we gonna stay lane.
Definitely. I appreciate you, sis.
Let's get these deuces. We boxed up and out.
Deuces.
Ow! That's right. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. I'm gonna stop the broadcast.